Republican Party of Iowa is running with your report card theme and labeling your education platform as being driven by tyrannical teachers unions, I think is what they said. So I wanted to give you a chance to respond to that.
Man, I have been in communication with our teachers union for some time. My grandmother was a member of her teachers union, and I asked my grandma 2 years ago, why were you a member of the union? And she said they had your back every step of the way. When they were messing with your check or messing with your training, the unions had your back. And my grandmother taught for more than 30 years because she had somebody that had her back. Our teachers aren't tyrannical. The teachers union isn't. They're doing the best they can in the conditions in which we're living in right now. And these are the moments where we don't call those folks out of their name. These are the moments where we lift them up and invest in them. Because the education policy that I believe in is the education policy that Iowa has always believed in. And it's that every single child, no matter their race, no matter their gender, no matter where they live, whether they're in rural Iowa, urban Iowa, or suburban Iowa, they should be afforded the opportunity to have a strong public education that's preparing them for a limitless future. And when Iowans are asking for that, they're not asking for too much, because we've been at the top of the mountain before. This is a state that was once number one, and unfortunately under their leadership right now, we're falling farther and farther down the list. And I won't call it tyrannical, but I'll call it a disservice to Iowans.
What about your record should instill confidence in voters, in how you'll work as a governor?
Sure. So my entire career, I've worked alongside nonprofits, community members. I've worked alongside government from the federal level all the way down to the municipal level to help them problem solve on behalf of their constituents. I've created financial coaching programs. I've helped small businesses. In fact, I started my small business during the recession to help other small businesses get started. Fast forward to the pandemic, the lessons that I learned from so many small businesses and my experience in the recession best prepared me to help folks during the pandemic. We knew early on that many of our business owners were going to have a challenging time. The governor closed them down, right? And so we needed to ensure that they were going to get connected to the resources to keep their businesses afloat. If they needed to change their business model based on the new restrictions that were coming down for the state, we helped them do that. We also helped them pivot. If they were a business that was bricks and mortar that never really did any business in the e-commerce space, we created that opportunity for them to do that by giving them access to the education and the coaching and the training. And so everywhere I go in the work that I do, it's about outcomes. I've helped more than 25,000 individuals throughout the state related to their personal finances. I've helped more than 1,000 businesses throughout this state, and not just give them access to education, we've given them access to, or help them gain the access to capital as well. And so I'm all about outcomes. That's why I'm so focused on the outcomes that we're seeing existing in the state of Iowa. Right? When we see that we need 91,000 jobs filled, I want that outcome to be less than 10,000. Right? That's what we've got to work towards. And so I'm not sure what tactics they're using behind closed doors, but what I can tell you is that the fruits of their labor is bad fruit for Iowans.
You mentioned young people, vowing to leave rural Iowa communities upon graduation, and I mean, we see that across central, the center of the nation, I think. But I wondered, as you're out on the road, why all? I guess, do you think that that's happening? I mean, what is it about the culture, the economics, the what of these rural communities that could be changed by the state government? Not everything can, but But
as I'm talking to students and young people throughout this state, they're telling me that they want this state to be welcoming. They want to feel invited. I'm talking to parents with little ones, and they want to raise their children in an environment where the education system is strong and the social environment is intact. I'm talking to people about safety and things along those lines. People just want to feel like they belong in this state at the end of the day. And we do that by meeting their needs through policy. You belong when you know you have an education system that's preparing you. You belong when you know you have a healthcare and mental health care system that's meeting your needs. If we can't meet Iowans' needs as a government entity, as a state, of course they're going to want to go and find those needs met in other spaces. I want to give people reason to stay in this state. and then to also be proud of this state and the leadership that we have. I mean, there is so much in this state that we have to be proud of. But unfortunately, we see the words that are being said, and we hear the words that are being said on national media related to Iowa because of the type of leadership that we have right now. And we want to change that trajectory. The state has always been welcoming, and even under Republican leadership. Bob Ray, I don't know if you're familiar, but during the Vietnam War, he created a refugee resettlement program. A Republican governor did. He didn't wait for the federal government. He decided to make those decisions to make Iowa more welcoming. And we don't just do that with our words. He didn't just say, hey, come to Iowa. He made sure there was access to housing, made sure there was access to education, to ESL, and all of those things to give them that pathway. That's what Iowans need in this state, is a pathway. If they so choose to get on it and pursue that path, that's their prerogative. But our job as leaders is to ensure that they have that pathway that's not burdened by government every step of the way.